Hey, guys. So, picture this. It's 6:30 in the morning, sometime in 1975, and you've just been jolted awake by the most aggressive sound known to mankind. A twin-bell alarm clock that sounds like a fire drill had a baby with a car accident. There's no snooze button. There's no gentle harp music fading in from your smartphone. No, no, no. This thing is screaming at you like you owe it money, and the only way to shut it up is to physically slam your palm down on a metal switch that's probably given you a bruise by now. You blink. The room is cold because central heating costs actual money, and your parents aren't running a charity here. The walls are covered in wallpaper. Floral, probably, or maybe that weird burnt orange and brown pattern that looked like someone threw up the 70s and decided to frame it. There's shag carpet under your feet, thick enough to lose a pencil in, and it feels vaguely damp because no one's invented those fancy dehumidifiers yet. You're middle class in 1975. Not rich, not poor, somewhere in that sweet spot where you've got a roof over your head, food on the table, and exactly one family car that Dad treats like it's made of gold and prayers. Today you're going to experience what life actually felt like back then, before the internet, before smartphones, before you could Google your way out of every inconvenience. Buckle up. But before we dive in, do me a favor. Smash that like button if you're enjoying this trip back in time. Drop a comment and tell me where you're watching from. I want to know if you're vibing with this from your couch in Kansas or your apartment in Brooklyn or wherever. And the bus ride to school is an experience that deserves its own documentary, honestly. You're packed in here with kids from your neighborhood, kids you've known since kindergarten, kids you'll probably know for the rest of your life because, in 1975, people don't really move that much. Your family bought this house in 1965, and unless something catastrophic happens, you're going to be in this house until you graduate, maybe longer. The seats are green vinyl, cracked and patched with duct tape. They're cold in the winter, burning hot in the summer, and sticky year-round for reasons nobody wants to investigate too closely. You're sitting next to Tommy Martinez, who smells like cigarettes because his older brother smokes in their shared bedroom, and the smell has basically become part of Tommy's DNA at this point. The bus driver is Mrs. Patterson, a woman who looks like she's been driving this route since the Eisenhower administration. She's got cat-eye glasses, hair in tight curls, and zero tolerance for nonsense. Someone throws a paper airplane. She doesn't even turn around. Whoever just threw that, I saw you. Don't test me today. She didn't see anything. She's got eyes in the back of her head, apparently, or maybe just decades of experience dealing with teenage stupidity. Either way, everyone settles down. You pass houses that all look vaguely similar. Ranch style, split level, the occasional colonial if someone's family is doing really well. Every driveway has a car, sometimes two if both parents work. Station wagons mostly, with wood paneling on the sides that serves absolutely no purpose except to scream, "I have children and I've given up on coolness." You pass the corner store, Murphy's Market, where you'll stop after school to buy penny candy and baseball cards. The gas station on the corner has a sign out front. Regular unleaded is 57 cents a gallon, and people are furious about it because just 2 years ago it was 36 cents, and the whole country is still reeling from the oil crisis, still remembering those long lines at the pump, cars snaking around the block, people getting into actual fistfights over who gets to fill up first. The bus pulls into the school parking lot. Lincoln High School. Class of 75, 76, 77, depending on where you are in this particular journey. The building is massive, brick, built sometime in the 1950s when people actually invested in public education, when schools had funding and teachers had respect and nobody was talking about budget cuts every 5 minutes. You file off the bus with everyone else. The cold air hits you again. Kids are everywhere, clustered in groups, smoking cigarettes openly, because somehow that's allowed in 1975. There's a designated smoking area for students. For students. 16-year-olds are lighting up Marlboros between second and third period, and nobody thinks this is weird. The school sells candy cigarettes in the vending machine, for crying out loud. You head inside. The hallways are packed. Lockers line both walls, green metal lockers that slam with a sound like gunshots. Everyone's got their locker decorated inside. Pictures cut out from Tiger Beat magazine, mirrors, maybe a little magnetic shelf for books. Your locker is number 247. You've had it for 3 years. You know the combination by heart. 23, 15, 8. You spin the dial. Pop it open. Inside is organized chaos. Textbooks stacked haphazardly, a gym bag that smells like death and broken dreams, some crumpled papers from last semester that you really should throw away but probably won't. The bell rings. First period. You've got, let's see, American History with Mr. Kowalski. You grab your history textbook, which weighs about as much as a cinder block, and head to class. The classroom is standard 1975 issue. Rows of wooden desks with attached chairs, the kind where the desk part swings out and you're constantly dropping pencils on the floor. There's a chalkboard at the front, green, not black, covered in white dust that gets everywhere. Mr. Kowalski is already there, sitting at his desk, reading the newspaper, drinking coffee from a thermos because the teacher's lounge coffee is apparently undrinkable. He's wearing a brown suit with a tie that's slightly too short. His hair is thinning on top, and he's got these thick, black-framed glasses that make him look like a budget Clark Kent. He's a good teacher, actually. Tough, but fair. He fought in Korea, which he mentions exactly once a year on Veterans Day, and never talks about again. You take your seat, third row, middle. Not too close to the front because you're not a total nerd, not too far back because you're not trying to fail. It's a strategic position, the Switzerland of classroom seating. Other kids file in. Jenny Cooper sits in front of you. She's got Farrah hair, perfectly feathered, and you've had a crush on her since 6th grade, but you've never said anything because what if she laughs? What if everyone laughs? Better to just admire from a safe distance and write her name in your notebook with little hearts around it like a psychopath. The second bell rings. Mr. Kowalski stands up. He doesn't say good morning. He just starts talking. All right, people, books out. We're talking about Watergate today. Watergate. The scandal that's still unfolding, even though Nixon resigned last August. It's everywhere. The news, the papers, dinner table conversations where Dad mutters about crooks and disgrace, while Mom tells him to lower his voice because the neighbors might hear. Mr. Kowalski draws a timeline on the board. The break-in, the cover-up, the tapes, the Saturday night massacre. He's writing fast, his handwriting barely legible, chalk dust flying everywhere. Who can tell me why this matters? Silence. Nobody wants to be the first to answer. Finally, David Chen raises his hand. Because the president broke the law? That's part of it, but it's more than that. It's about trust. It's about whether the American people can trust their government. And right now, they can't. We just got out of Vietnam, the economy's in the toilet, and the president we elected turned out to be a criminal. So, how do you think people are feeling right now? More silence. Then someone in the back. Probably Brad whoever says, "Pretty bummed?" The class laughs. Mr. Kowalski doesn't. "Yeah, pretty bummed. That's one way to put it." He keeps talking. You're taking notes, or at least pretending to. Your notebook is a mess of doodles and half-finished sentences. You draw a little cartoon of Nixon with big jowls and peace signs. Jenny Cooper turns around, sees your drawing, smiles. Your heart does a backflip. First period ends. The bell rings. You pack up your stuff, shuffle out into the hallway, get swept up in the current of bodies all moving in different directions. You've got English next. Mrs. Rothstein. She's obsessed with Shakespeare and makes everyone read aloud, which is social torture for anyone with even a shred of self-consciousness. You walk past the cafeteria. The smell hits you first. It's a combination of mystery meat, industrial-strength floor cleaner, and despair. You can see the lunch ladies through the window, already prepping for the midday rush. Hairnets, aprons, those big serving spoons that look like they could double as weapons. English class is in the West Wing. You get there just as the bell rings. Safe. Mrs. Rothstein is at her desk, her hair in a tight bun, reading glasses perched on her nose. She looks up. "Good morning, class." "Good morning, Mrs. Rothstein." You say it in unison, like some kind of cult greeting. This is how every class starts in 1975. The teacher greets you, you greet them back, and then you sit down and prepare for 50 minutes of education, whether you want it or not. Today, you're reading Romeo and Juliet, which everyone pretends to hate but secretly kind of enjoys because it's basically a soap opera with fancy language. Mrs. Rothstein assigns roles. You're Mercutio, which is actually pretty cool because Mercutio gets the best lines before he dies. You read, "A plague on both your houses." Mrs. Rothstein stops you. More emotion. Mercutio is dying. He's been stabbed. He's angry. He's tragic. He's cursing both families for their stupid feud. Feel it. You try again. "A plague on both your houses." Better. Continue. English class drags on. You read, you analyze, you discuss themes of love and fate, and whether Romeo and Juliet are actually in love or just horny teenagers making bad decisions. The general consensus is the latter. The bell rings. Second period done. You've got math next, which is Algebra Tissot with Mrs. Chen, who is not related to David Chen, but everyone asks anyway. Math is math. You're either good at it or you're not, and you're somewhere in the middle, which means you understand enough to pass, but not enough to enjoy it. Mrs. Chen is writing equations on the board, solving for x. Quadratic formula. Stuff you'll definitely need in real life, or so they keep telling you, even though Dad works in sales and hasn't used algebra once in 20 years. You copy down the problems. You work through them. Some you get right. Some you get wrong. Mrs. Chen walks around the room, checking everyone's work, making little corrections with her red pen that she wields like a sword. Third period. Biology with Mr. Hammond. Today you're dissecting frogs, which is exactly as gross as it sounds. The formaldehyde smell is intense. It burns your nostrils, makes your eyes water. You're partnered with Lisa Freeman, who is way smarter than you and basically does all the work while you hold the tray and try not to vomit. The frog is pinned to a wax board, splayed open like some kind of amphibian sacrifice. Lisa is identifying organs. That's the liver. That's the stomach. Those are the intestines. You nod, pretending to be fascinated. But really, you're just thinking about lunch because it's almost 11:30, and that bowling ball breakfast has finally digested, and now you're starving. The bell rings. Finally. Lunchtime. You pack up, wash your hands 3 times to get the formaldehyde smell off, and head to your locker. You grab your brown paper bag. By now, the sandwich inside is probably compressed to about half its original thickness, the bread slightly soggy, but you don't care. You're hungry. The cafeteria is chaos. Absolute chaos. 300 kids all trying to eat lunch in the same 30-minute window. The noise is deafening. Everyone's talking at once, trays clanging, chairs scraping, someone's dropping their tray in the corner, and everyone's cheering because, in 1975, public humiliation is considered entertainment. You get in line. You're not buying cafeteria food because you've got your bag lunch, but some kids are. They're loading up on rectangular pizza that tastes like cardboard and cheese, tater tots that are somehow both burnt and raw, canned peaches in syrup that's probably 50% corn syrup and 50% regret. You find your table. Same table you've sat at every day for 3 years. Your friends are already there. Mike, who's on the wrestling team and smells perpetually like sweat and tiger balm. Sarah, who's in drama club and talks exclusively in theater kid energy. And Tom, who's basically coasting through high school on charm and a C- average. You sit down, pull out your sandwich, peanut butter and jelly on Wonder Bread. The jelly has soaked through one side, making it purple and squishy. You eat it anyway. It's delicious. Mike's talking about the wrestling meet this weekend. Sarah's talking about the spring musical, Grease, and how she's auditioning for Sandy even though she's got more of a Rizzo vibe. Tom's not talking about anything because his mouth is full of Twinkies, and he's got the emotional depth of a puddle. You eat your chips. They're Lay's, classic, from a bag that cost maybe 30 cents. You eat your apple, or at least take 2 bites before wrapping it back up and tossing it because nobody actually eats the fruit in their lunch. That's just Mom being optimistic. Conversation flows. Someone mentions that there's a party this weekend at Kevin's house because his parents are going out of town. Everyone debates whether they're going. Whether they can get there, because, again, no Uber, no rideshare apps. You either have a friend with a car, or you're walking, or you're asking Mom for a ride, which is social suicide. You drink from the water fountain. The water is lukewarm and tastes vaguely metallic, but it's wet, and that's all that matters. The bell rings. Lunch is over. Just like that, 30 minutes. That's it. You throw away your trash, crumple up the brown paper bag, and head back to your locker. 4th period. Physical education. Gym class. The thing you've been dreading all day because gym class in 1975 is basically Lord of the Flies with dodgeballs. You head to the locker room. It smells like a combination of feet, Old Spice, and testosterone. You change into your gym uniform, which is basically short shorts and a t-shirt with the school name on it. You walk through the front door, and you're immediately hit with the smell of something cooking. Mom's in the kitchen again because apparently she lives there, permanently stationed at the stove like a culinary soldier. She's making dinner already, even though it's only 3:30 in the afternoon, because in 1975, dinner happens at exactly 5:30, like clockwork. And if you're not at the table when Dad gets home, there will be questions. "How was school?" she calls out without turning around. "Fine." This is the universal teenage response to that question. Doesn't matter if you had the best day of your life or the worst, the answer is always, fine. Mom knows this. She's given up on getting actual details. You drop your backpack by the door. Mom yells at you. "Pick that up. This isn't a barn." You pick it up. Carry it to your room. Your room is exactly how you left it this morning, which is to say, a complete disaster. You should probably clean it, but you've got homework, and also you don't want to, so priorities. You flop onto your bed. The mattress creaks. Everything in this house creaks. The floors, the stairs, the beds. Even the walls seem to settle and groan like the house itself is tired. You stare at the ceiling. There's a water stain up there, shaped like Florida. You've been staring at that stain for 3 years. Your sister barges in without knocking because privacy is apparently a myth in 1975. Mom says you have to set the table. I just got home. I don't care. Mom says now. She leaves. You lie there for another 30 seconds out of pure spite, then drag yourself up and head back downstairs. The kitchen is warm, almost hot, because the oven's been running for an hour. Mom's making pot roast. Classic 1975 dinner. A huge hunk of beef that's been slow cooking all day, surrounded by potatoes and carrots that have basically disintegrated into mush. It smells amazing, honestly. Like comfort food and nostalgia, and every Sunday dinner your grandmother ever made. You start setting the table. 5 places. Mom, Dad, you, your sister, and your younger brother when he gets home from playing outside, which he's been doing unsupervised since 2:30, because in 1975, kids just go outside. They leave. They roam the neighborhood like feral cats. They come home when the streetlights come on or when they get hungry, whichever comes first. You put out the plates. The good plates. Not the fancy china that only comes out on Thanksgiving and Christmas, but the everyday dishes. They're heavy, ceramic, probably older than you are. There's a chip on one of them that's been there for 5 years, but nobody throws away a perfectly good plate just because it's got a chip. That's wasteful. Forks, knives, spoons. Napkins, the cloth ones that Mom irons even though nobody asked her to. Glasses for milk, because everyone drinks milk with dinner in 1975. Got milk? You've got it. It's in the fridge, in a glass bottle that the milkman delivered this morning because, yes, milkmen still exist. They drive around in little white trucks at dawn, leaving bottles on doorsteps like some kind of dairy Santa Claus. You finish setting the table. Mom inspects your work with the critical eye of a drill sergeant. The forks go on the left. You move the forks. She nods, satisfied. You're dismissed. You head back upstairs. You've got homework to do, which feels like a sick joke because you just spent 7 hours at school and now they want you to do more school at home? The audacity. You sit at your desk. It's wooden, scratched up, with a drawer that sticks. You pull out your textbooks, your notebooks, survey the damage. Math problems, 2 pages. A chapter to read for English. Spanish vocab to memorize. And an essay for history. 5 pages, on the New Deal, due Friday. You start with math because it's quick. Or at least it should be quick, but you're staring at problem number 3 and you have absolutely no idea what you're looking at. You check your notes, they're useless. Your handwriting is atrocious and you apparently wrote, "Ask David about this" in the margin, but David's not here, so you're on your own. You work through it. Some problems you get. Some problems you definitely don't get, but you write down an answer anyway because partial credit is better than no credit. Math done. English next. You're supposed to read Chapter 5 of The Great Gatsby, which everyone says is a great American novel, but honestly, you're just confused about who all these people are and why anyone cares about Gatsby's shirts. You read, or at least, your eyes move across the words while your brain thinks about literally anything else. Jenny Cooper, The Party on Saturday. whether you should grow your hair out longer or if that'll make Dad have an aneurysm. You finish the chapter. You have retained maybe 30% of it. Good enough. Spanish vocab. You make flashcards, old school style, index cards, pen, writing the English on one side and the Spanish on the other. To eat, comer. To drink, Bieber. To fail Spanish class. You don't know that one, but you're pretty sure you're living it. Your brother bursts into your room. He's 9 years old, covered in dirt, grinning like a maniac. Guess what? You fell in mud? We built a fort. Cool. Want to see it? I've got homework. You're boring. He runs off. You hear him thundering down the stairs, yelling for Mom. You should probably spend more time with him, be a better older sibling. But also, you're a teenager, and he's 9, and you exist in completely different universes. You still have that history essay hanging over your head like the sword of Damocles. 5 pages on the New Deal. You haven't started. You've been assigned this essay for 2 weeks and you haven't started, because of course you haven't. This is what teenagers do. They procrastinate until the last possible second and then panic. But not today. Today, you're going to be responsible. You're going to at least start the essay. You pull out your encyclopedia. Not Wikipedia, because that won't exist for another 26 years. The actual Encyclopedia Britannica, Volume N, a massive book with thin pages and tiny print. Your parents bought this set on an installment plan, paying it off over 3 years, because knowledge is important, and the encyclopedia is how you get knowledge in 1975. You flip to New Deal. Start reading. It's dense, academic, written in that formal style that makes your eyes glaze over. You take notes. FDR, Great Depression, Alphabet Soup Agencies, CCC, WPA, TVA, SSA, so many acronyms. Your hand is cramping. You hear Dad's car pull into the driveway. 5:23. He's early, or actually, he's exactly on time because Dad's schedule is more precise than an atomic clock. He leaves for work at 7:15 every morning. He comes home at 5:23 every evening. He's done this for 15 years. You hear the front door open. I'm home, Mom's voice from the kitchen. Dinner's almost ready. Wash up. This is their routine. Every day. The same greeting, the same response. There's comfort in it, you guess. Stability. Or maybe it's just monotony dressed up as tradition. You hear Dad on the stairs. He pops his head into your room. Doing homework? Yeah. Good. Dinner in 5 minutes. He disappears. You hear him in his bedroom, changing out of his work clothes. He wears a suit to work, white-collar job, middle management at a company that makes something. You're not entirely sure what. Machine parts, office supplies. He's tried to explain it, but it's boring, and you tuned out. He emerges in his home uniform. Slacks and a polo shirt, slippers. He looks tired. He always looks tired. His hair's thinning more than it was last year. There are lines around his eyes that weren't there before. He's 42 years old and he looks 50, because in 1975, middle-class, middle-aged men are just tired. They work 40, 50 hours a week. They worry about money constantly. They're providing for a family on one income while Mom stays home, and that's just how it is. You head downstairs. The table's set. Your brother's already there, hands washed, mostly clean. Your sister's there, too, still picking at her food before it's even served because the diet industry has absolutely destroyed her relationship with eating. Everyone sits. Mom brings out the pot roast on a serving platter. It's huge, steaming, surrounded by those disintegrated vegetables. Dad stands up. He's going to carve the roast because apparently that's the man's job in 1975. Gender roles are alive and well and living in your dining room. He carves. Slices of beef, thick and tender, falling off the knife. He serves Mom first, then your sister, then you, then your brother, then himself. Everyone gets vegetables whether they want them or not. You start eating. It's good. Really good. Mom's not a fancy cook, but she's consistent. And after 7 hours of school and an afternoon of homework, this pot roast tastes like heaven. Dad's talking about work. Something about a project deadline, a meeting with the regional manager, office politics that you don't understand and don't care about. Mom's nodding, asking questions, being supportive. This is her job now. Homemaker. She had a job before she had kids, worked as a secretary, but that was 15 years ago, and now her job is this. Cooking, cleaning, raising children, managing the household. Your sister's barely eating. Pushing food around her plate. Mom notices. Honey, you need to eat more than that. I'm not hungry. You need protein. You need energy. Mom, I'm fine. This argument happens at every meal. Your sister's trying to look like the girls in 17 magazine, which means she's trying to survive on celery and diet soda, which means she's cranky all the time, which means everyone's walking on eggshells. Your brother's eating like it's his last meal on earth. He's got pot roast juice running down his chin. Dad tells him to slow down. He doesn't. You finish eating. You're full. That heavy, comfortable fullness that makes you want to nap immediately. But there's still homework to do, that essay to start, and also it's your night to do dishes. In 1975, chores are non-negotiable. Everyone contributes. There's a rotating schedule on the fridge. Monday is your night for dishes. Wednesday is your sister's night. Friday is your brother's night. Though he's 9, so mostly he just dries while someone else washes. You clear the table. Bring the plates to the kitchen. Scrape the leftovers into Tupperware containers that Mom will pack for Dad's lunch tomorrow. Run hot water in the sink. Add dish soap, the kind that comes in a yellow bottle and smells like fake lemons. You wash. Plate by plate, glass by glass. Your hands are getting pruny. The water's too hot, but you can't adjust it because the hot water tap is either full blast or off. There's no in-between. Your sister's supposed to be drying, but she's disappeared. Probably to her room to call her friend on the phone and talk about boys or bands or whatever teenage girls talk about in 1975. You yell for her. She doesn't respond. You're stuck washing and drying. Finally, you finish. The kitchen's clean. Mom inspects it, nods her approval. You're free. You head to the living room. Dad's in his recliner, reading the evening paper. The TV is on. It's 6:45, which means the local news is on, and after that, prime time. Monday night means Little House on the Prairie, which your mom loves and you tolerate. You sit on the couch. Your brother's on the floor, building something with Lincoln logs. Your sister's finally off the phone, and she's curled up in the other chair, reading a Tiger Beat magazine, probably the one with David Cassidy on the cover. The news is depressing. It's always depressing. Something about the economy, unemployment numbers, inflation, the anchors talking about interest rates and the recession and gas prices again, and Dad's muttering under his breath about Carter and Congress and how nobody in Washington has any common sense. The news ends. Little House starts. Laura Ingalls is dealing with some prairie problem, a crop failure or a disease or a blizzard, something wholesome and character-building. Mom's riveted. You're half watching, half thinking about that essay you still need to write. 7:30. Show's over. Dad switches the channel. There's Monday Night Football on ABC. He's not a huge sports fan, but it's Monday night, and this is what men watch on Monday nights in 1975. It's like a law or something. You head back upstairs. Time to actually start that essay. You sit at your desk, pull out a pad of lined paper, not loose leaf, but an actual legal pad with yellow pages. You pick up your pen, blue ink. You stare at the blank page. The New Deal, an essay by your name. You underline it. That's a start. Now you just need 4 3/4 pages more. You write, or you try to write. Mostly, you stare at the page and chew on the end of your pen. You write a sentence. Cross it out. Write it again. This is torture. You hear a knock on your door. Yeah? Mom pokes her head in. Don't stay up too late. School tomorrow. I know. I mean it. You need your sleep. I know. She leaves. You look at the clock. 8:15. You've written maybe half a page. This is going to be a long night. You keep writing. The words come slowly, painfully. You're basically copying sentences from the encyclopedia and changing them just enough that it's not technically plagiarism. Teachers don't have plagiarism checkers in 1975. They've just got their eyes and their instincts and the vague sense that you didn't write this yourself, but they can't prove it. 8:45. You've written 2 pages. Good enough for tonight. You'll finish the rest tomorrow or Wednesday or Thursday night in a panic at 11 p.m. while crying into your typewriter. You brush your teeth. The bathroom's empty for once. You take your time. The house is quieter now. Your brother's in bed. Your sister's in her room, probably on the phone again, because teenage girls in 1975 can spend 6 hours on the phone, and nobody knows what they're talking about for that long. You head to your room, change into your pajamas. Polyester again, because of course. You climb into bed. The sheets are cold. You curl up under the covers, pull the blankets up to your chin. You can hear the TV downstairs. Dad's still watching football. The sound drifts up through the heating vents. You can hear the announcers, the crowd noise, the occasional yell from Dad when someone does something stupid. You're tired. That good tired that comes from a full day. School, homework, dinner, family. It's routine. It's boring. It's comfortable. It's predictable. It's 1975, and you're middle class, and this is your life. Your afternoon is over. You're lying in bed, but you're not asleep yet. It's that weird in-between state where you're tired, but your brain won't shut up. You're thinking about tomorrow, about that math test on Friday that you're definitely not ready for, about whether Jenny Cooper even knows you exist, about whether you'll ever be cool enough to sit at the popular kids' table at lunch, or if you're destined to be middle tier forever. The house is settling around you. Every creak, every groan is familiar. You know which floorboard in the hallway squeaks. You know the sound of the refrigerator humming downstairs. You know the exact pitch of the furnace when it kicks on at 9:30 every night like clockwork. You can still hear the TV. Dad's watching the end of the football game. The announcer's voice rises and falls. There's a commercial. You can tell it's a commercial because the volume jumps up about 40 decibels. Because apparently advertisers in 1975 think if they scream at you, you'll buy their product. Miller Lite. Tastes great. Less filling. Thanks. Now you're awake again. You roll over. Stare at the wall. There's a poster there. Bruce Lee, mid-kick, looking like he could roundhouse kick through the space-time continuum. You bought it at Spencer's Gifts with your allowance 3 months ago. $2.50. You've got it tacked up with push pins that are slowly pulling out of the drywall, and one day it's going to fall on your face while you're sleeping and give you a heart attack. You think about the weekend. Saturday. Kevin's party. You're nervous. You've never been to a real high school party before, not one without parents lurking around serving punch and cookies. This is going to be different. There's going to be beer, probably. Maybe someone will bring weed. You've never tried weed. You're curious but also terrified because what if you're one of those people who has a bad trip and thinks they're a glass of orange juice forever? You heard that story from someone's older brother. It's probably not true. But what if it is? Your door opens, just a crack. Light from the hallway spills in. It's Mom. You still awake? Yeah. She comes in, sits on the edge of your bed. The mattress dips under her weight. She's still in her housecoat, hair in curlers now, cold cream on her face making her look like a ghost in the dim light. Can't sleep? Just thinking. About what? Nothing. School stuff. She nods. She doesn't push. That's one thing about Mom. She knows when to leave it alone. She pats your leg through the blanket. Well, try to get some sleep. Big day tomorrow. Every day is a big day, according to Mom. Could be the most mundane Tuesday in human history, and she'll call it a big day. Okay. Night, Mom. Night, sweetie. She leaves. Closes the door most of the way, but not all the way, because closing doors all the way is apparently not allowed in this house. There always has to be a crack, just enough for the hallway light to leak through and keep you from total darkness. You hear her going to her room. You hear her and Dad talking, muffled voices through the wall. You can't make out the words, but you know the rhythm. Dad's telling her about work. She's telling him about her day. They're talking about bills, probably. They're always talking about bills. The mortgage, the car payment, the oil bill, the electric bill. Your sister needs new shoes. Your brother needs a dentist appointment because he chipped his tooth on the monkey bars. Everything costs money. Money they have, technically, because Dad's got a steady job and they're middle class and they can afford these things. But it's always tight. Always calculated. Always one unexpected expense away from stress. You hear the TV shut off downstairs. Dad's footsteps on the stairs. The bathroom door closes. The toilet flushes. The sink runs. The medicine cabinet opens and closes. Dad's bedtime routine is as predictable as his work schedule. The house goes quiet. Everyone's in bed now. Just you and your thoughts and the sound of the heating system clicking and humming. You're still not asleep. You think about your future, about what you want to be when you grow up, which feels simultaneously far away and terrifyingly close. You're in high school now. In a few years you'll graduate. Then what? College, maybe, if you can afford it, if your grades are good enough. Dad's been talking about state school, cheaper, practical, or maybe you'll skip college, get a job, work your way up. That's what Dad did, and he's done okay. Middle management, benefits, a pension eventually. The American Dream, 1975 edition. A house in the suburbs, a car in the driveway, a family to provide for. It doesn't sound exciting, but it sounds safe. And in 1975, safe is what middle-class families want more than anything. Safety, stability, predictability. You finally start to drift off. Your thoughts get fuzzy, disconnected. You're thinking about Jenny Cooper's smile. Then you're thinking about the pot roast. Then you're thinking about that frog in biology class, and then you're asleep. But let's fast forward. Let's skip ahead to Wednesday evening, because one day in 1975 is pretty much like another, and we want to show you the full experience of middle-class life, not just the school routine. It's Wednesday, 6 p.m. You're at home, but tonight is different because tonight is allowance night. Every Wednesday, after dinner, Dad sits down at the kitchen table with his wallet and doles out allowance like he's the godfather distributing favors. You get $5 a week. Your sister gets $5. Your brother gets $3 because he's younger, and apparently that's how the economics work. $5. In 1975, that's actually not bad. That's enough for a movie ticket, which costs $2.50. That's enough for a record album, which costs about $4.99. That's enough for gas money if you're helping to fill up Dad's car, which costs around $7 for a full tank. You've been saving your allowance for 3 weeks. You've got $15 burning a hole in your pocket. You're going to the mall on Saturday before Kevin's party, and you're going to buy a new shirt. Something cool. Something that'll make Jenny Cooper look at you and think, wow, there's a person worth noticing. But tonight, you're not at home. Tonight is also Wednesday, which means it's your night. Your one night a week where you get to go out, do your thing, be a teenager without the entire family breathing down your neck. You're going to the arcade. The arcade is at the mall, 20 minutes away by bike. You and Mike are making the journey together, $5 in quarters weighing down your pockets. You've been planning this all week. You grab your coat. I'm going to the mall, Mom appears from the kitchen. Be back by 9. 9. 9. And take your brother. No. Your brother is 9 years old. He's a liability. He's going to slow you down, embarrass you, cramp your style. Mom, come on. Take your brother. This is non-negotiable. You can see it in her eyes. If you want to go to the arcade, your brother comes with you. This is the price of freedom in a middle-class 1975 household. Fine. Your brother appears instantly, already wearing his coat, grinning like he won the lottery. He knew this was going to happen. Little Snitch probably asked Mom if he could go. You head outside. Mike's already there, waiting on his bike. His bike is cooler than yours. It's a Schwinn Stingray with a banana seat and high handlebars. Your bike is serviceable. It's got 10 speeds you never use and a basket on the front that you've tried to remove, but Dad won't let you because baskets are useful. Your brother's bike is tiny with training wheels he just got removed last month. He's slow. This is going to take forever. You start riding. The evening air is cold, but not terrible. The sun's setting, painting the sky pink and orange. The neighborhood is quiet. Street lights are starting to flicker on. Dogs are barking. Someone's grilling something that smells amazing. You ride past familiar houses. The Johnsons' place with the immaculate lawn. The Petersons' house with the broken fence they've been meaning to fix for 2 years. The corner where you busted your knee open when you were 8 and had to get 6 stitches. Mike's talking about Kevin's party, about who's going, who's not going, who might go if they can sneak out. About whether there's going to be girls there. Obviously, there are going to be girls there. The real question is whether any of them will talk to you. Your brother's falling behind. You slow down, let him catch up. He's breathing hard, face red. Can we stop? We just started. But I'm tired. You're 9. How are you tired? Mike laughs. Your brother glares at you. You keep riding. You make it to the mall in 25 minutes, which is a new record. The parking lot is packed. It's Wednesday evening, and apparently everyone in town decided they needed to go to the mall. Station wagons everywhere. Sedans. The occasional muscle car blasting Led Zeppelin from 8-track speakers. You lock your bikes to the bike rack. There's a bike rack because in 1975, kids actually ride bikes to places. You've got a combination lock, 8-15-8. You'd use your birthday, but that's too obvious. You head inside. The mall is a sensory explosion. Bright lights, music playing from different stores, all mixing together into audio chaos. The smell of pretzels from the pretzel stand, perfume from the department store, chlorine from the indoor fountain where people throw pennies and make wishes. The arcade is on the lower level. You take the escalator down. Your brother's nervous about the escalator because one time he tripped getting off and now he's got PTSD. Mike goes first, then you, then your brother, who steps on carefully like he's defusing a bomb. You make it. The arcade is loud. Beeps, boops, explosions, digital music. It's dark except for the glow of the screens. There are probably 40 machines in here, maybe 50. Pong, Space Invaders, Asteroids, Tank, Breakout, all the classics, and it's packed. Kids everywhere. Teenagers mostly, but some younger kids too. Everyone's clustered around the machines, feeding in quarters, mashing buttons, yelling at screens. You head to the change machine. Feed in a dollar bill. It spits out 4 quarters. You do this 5 times. 20 quarters. 20 games if you're lucky. 5 games if you're not, because you die fast and quarters disappear like water. Mike's already at Space Invaders. You join him. Space Invaders is the game right now. It came out last year, and it's everywhere. The concept is simple. You're a little spaceship at the bottom of the screen. Aliens are descending from the top. Shoot them before they shoot you. It's addictive. It's frustrating. It's perfect. You drop in a quarter. The game starts. The aliens march down the screen, side to side, making that iconic pew-pew-pew sound. You fire. Hit one. Hit another. The aliens speed up. They always speed up. That's the cruelty of the game. The better you do, the harder it gets. You die. Game over. 45 seconds. That quarter lasted 45 seconds. You're about to feed in another one when you hear a voice. Hey. You turn. It's Jenny Cooper. She's here, at the arcade, on a Wednesday night, looking at you. Your brain short-circuits. You're pretty sure your mouth is hanging open. Mike elbows you. Hi, you manage. You're good at this game, she says, which is objectively a lie because you just died in under a minute. But you're not going to correct her. Thanks. You play? Sometimes. I'm better at asteroids. Cool, cool, cool. You're saying cool too much. Stop saying cool. She smiles. See you around. She walks off. You watch her go. Mike's grinning like an idiot. Dude, she was talking to you. I know. She said you're good. I know. Your brother tugs on your sleeve. Can I have a quarter? What? A quarter for games. Oh, right. Your brother. You hand him a quarter. He runs off to play whatever 9-year-olds play. Probably Pac-Man when it comes out next year, but for now he's stuck with Tank. You and Mike play for the next hour. You rotate through games. Space Invaders, Asteroids, Breakout. You're not great at any of them, but you're not terrible either. You're solidly average, which feels like the theme of your entire life. Other kids come and go. You see people from school. Tommy Martinez is here with his older brother, the one who smokes. Lisa Freeman is here with her girlfriends, all of them giggling at something. Brad. Whoever is here trying to impress some girl by playing with one hand, which is as stupid as it sounds. You check your watch. 8:30. You've got 30 minutes before you need to start heading home. You've got exactly 3 quarters left. You're trying to decide whether to blow them all on one last game or save them for next week when your brother appears. I'm hungry. Of course he is. He's always hungry. He's 9. He's a black hole in human form. We'll eat when we get home. But I'm hungry now. Mike's trying not to laugh. You glare at him. This is your life. This is what you're dealing with. Fine. We'll get a pretzel. You head upstairs. The pretzel stand is near the fountain. The line is short, thank God. You order one pretzel, salted. It costs 60 cents. You hand the guy 3/4, get your change. 15 cents. You give the pretzel to your brother, who devours half of it in one bite. What do you say? Thanks. You head back outside. Unlock your bikes. The ride home is slower because your brother's got a stomach full of pretzel and he's complaining the whole way. You make it home at 8:55, 5 minutes to spare. Mom's on the couch watching TV. Some sitcom. Canned laughter. She looks up. How was the arcade? Good. Your brother behave? Mostly. She nods. Your brother's already disappeared upstairs, probably to play with his He-Man figures or read comics or whatever. You head to your room. Collapse on your bed. You smell like the arcade, that specific combination of old carpet, recycled air, and teenage desperation. You smell like quarters and button mashing and the faint possibility that Jenny Cooper might actually know your name. You lie there, stare at the ceiling, at Waterstain, Florida. You're tired, but in a good way. You accomplished something tonight. You went out. You had fun. You talked to Jenny Cooper without completely embarrassing yourself. That's a win. You hear Dad getting ready for bed. The same routine, every night. Bathroom, teeth, pajamas, bed. 9:45 on the dot. He's got work tomorrow. Same schedule, same routine, same life. You should probably do your homework. That history essay's still not done, but that's a tomorrow problem. Tonight, you're just going to lie here and think about Jenny Cooper and Space Invaders and the fact that for a few hours you got to be a normal teenager in 1975, doing normal teenager things. Your evening is complete. It's Saturday night. The night you've been waiting for all week. Kevin's party. The one everyone's been talking about in hushed whispers between classes. The one that's taken on mythological proportions in your mind. You're standing in front of the mirror in your room, wearing your new shirt. You bought it yesterday at the mall with your saved-up allowance. $15 for a button-down with a pattern that can only be described as aggressively 1975. It's got colors that shouldn't exist in nature. Burnt orange, avocado green, a brown that's trying to be chocolate but looks more like mud. The collar is enormous. You could use it as a parachute if you fell out of a plane, but it's cool. At least you think it's cool. You hope it's cool. You're wearing it with your best jeans, the Levi's that are just the right amount of worn in, and your platform shoes that add an extra 2 inches to your height and make you walk like a newborn giraffe. Your hair is feathered. You used an entire can of hairspray. Your room smells like a chemical plant explosion. Your eyes are watering, but your hair looks perfect, frozen in place like a helmet made of style and questionable decisions. You check your watch, 7:15. Mike's picking you up at 7:30. His older brother agreed to drive you guys to the party, which is a miracle because Mike's older brother is 19 and cool and has a car. An actual car. A 1970 Chevy Nova that's primer gray and sounds like it's perpetually angry. You're nervous. Your stomach is doing backflips. You've never been to a party like this before. What if you say something stupid? What if nobody talks to you? What if Jenny Cooper is there and you freeze up like a popsicle? Mom appears in your doorway. She's got her arms crossed, that look on her face. Where are you going dressed like that? Kevin's party. Kevin who? Kevin Harrison, from school. Are his parents going to be there? This is the question. The question. The one you've been dreading. Because no, Kevin's parents are not going to be there. That's the whole point. But if you tell Mom that, you're not going anywhere except your room for the rest of the weekend. Yeah, they'll be there. You're lying. You're absolutely lying. You feel bad about it for approximately 2 seconds, then you remember you're 16 years old, and if you don't start living your life now, you're going to be 40 and boring and doing push-ups in the garage at 6 a.m. like Dad. Mom narrows her eyes. She doesn't believe you. She knows you're lying. But she also remembers being 16, probably, back in the Stone Age when she was young. She sighs. Be home by midnight. Not 12:05, not 12:15. Midnight. And if I find out you were drinking, I won't. Another lie. Or maybe not. You're not sure. You've never had beer before. You're curious but also terrified. What if you hate it? What if you love it and become an alcoholic and ruin your life? What if you throw up on Jenny? Cooper? These are the thoughts keeping you awake at night. You hear a car horn outside. Mike. You grab your coat, the one that's not warm enough but looks cooler than your actual winter coat. Bye, Mom. Midnight. You're out the door before she can add any more rules. The cold night air hits you. It's February still, but it's one of those almost spring nights where you can feel winter losing its grip. The temperature's in the low 40s. Basically tropical for February. Mike's in the back seat of the Nova. His brother Rick is driving, cigarette hanging out of his mouth, one hand on the wheel, looking like he's auditioning for a role in American Graffiti. The radio's blasting. Aerosmith. Sweet emotion. The bass is so loud you can feel it in your chest. You climb in. The car smells like cigarette smoke, old fast food, and teenage rebellion. Rick doesn't acknowledge you, just puts the car in gear and peels out. The tires squeal. Your mom's probably watching from the window, regretting every life choice that led to this moment. Your brother's cool, you say to Mike. He's all right. Rick glances in the rearview mirror. You kids ready to party? You're not sure how to answer that. Is there a right answer? You just nod. Rick laughs, takes a drag from his cigarette, blows smoke out the window. The drive to Kevin's house takes 15 minutes. It's across town, in a neighborhood that's slightly nicer than yours. The houses are bigger. The lawns are greener. The cars in the driveways are newer. These are the upper-middle-class families, the ones where Dad's a doctor or a lawyer or owns his own business. You can hear the party before you see it. Music thumping from inside the house. Led Zeppelin, Whole Lotta Love. Cars are parked everywhere, lining both sides of the street. Rick drops you off at the corner. You kids have fun. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. He grins, which leaves you a lot of options. He drives off. You and Mike stand there for a second, staring at the house. Lights on inside, shadows moving past the windows. You can see people on the front lawn, red Solo cups in hand. Wait, no. Red Solo cups won't be invented until 1976. These are just regular plastic cups. White, probably. Flimsy ones that crack if you squeeze them too hard. You ready? Mike asks. Yeah. You? Yeah. Neither of you moves. You're both terrified. Finally, you walk up to the front door. It's open. You walk in. The house is packed. There have to be 50, 60 people here. Kids from school. Some you recognize, some you don't. The music is loud. The living room furniture has been pushed against the walls. People are dancing, sort of. It's more like swaying and bobbing because nobody in 1975 really knows how to dance to rock music. The air is thick with smoke. Cigarette smoke, mostly, but there's another smell, too. Sweet, skunky. Someone's smoking weed. Probably in the garage or the basement or the backyard, somewhere Kevin's parents won't immediately discover when they get home tomorrow. You spot Kevin. He's in the kitchen, king of his domain, holding court. He's got a case of beer, Schlitz or Pabst or something equally terrible. He's handing out cans like he's Santa Claus. "Hey, you made it!" He tosses you a beer. You catch it. It's cold, wet with condensation. You've never held a beer before. You're holding it like it's a live grenade. Mike opens his immediately, takes a sip, makes a face. Tastes like piss. "That's because it is piss," someone says. Brad whoever, apparently a beer connoisseur at 16. You pop the tab. Psast. You take a sip. Mike's right. It tastes terrible. Like carbonated bread water. But everyone else is drinking it, so you drink it too. You're not going to be the loser who doesn't drink at his first real party. You wander through the house. The living room is wall-to-wall people. Someone's changed the record. Now it's the Eagles. Take it easy. People are singing along badly. There's a couple making out on the couch, completely oblivious to everyone around them. Someone spills a drink. Nobody cares. You make your way to the backyard. It's quieter out here. Fewer people. The ones who are here are sitting on the patio furniture, talking, laughing. There's a girl you recognize from English class. She's smoking a joint, passing it to her friend. The smell is stronger out here. She offers it to you. You shake your head. Not because you're scared. Okay, you're definitely scared. But also because what if you're one of those people who gets paranoid? What if you think you're dying? What if you actually die? You're not ready for that level of commitment. You go back inside. Mike's in the living room talking to some girl you don't recognize. He's using his confident voice, the one he practices in the mirror. You leave him to it. You're wandering, aimless, drinking this terrible beer and trying to look like you're having the time of your life when really you're just anxious and slightly dizzy and starting to feel the beer in your empty stomach. And then you see her, Jenny Cooper. She's in the hallway, talking to her friends, laughing at something, her hair perfect, her smile brighter than every light in this house combined. This is your moment. This is what you came here for. You've been building up to this all week, all year, really. You've rehearsed what you're going to say. You've got a whole speech prepared, something witty and charming, and you walk up to her. "Hey." That's it. That's your big opening line. "Hey." All that preparation, all that rehearsal, and your brain produces, "Hey." She turns, sees you, smiles. "Oh, hey, you made it." She's talking like she expected you to be here, like she wanted you to be here. Your brain is exploding. Yeah. Wow. You're crushing this conversation. Someone should give you an award for eloquence. You want to go outside? It's so loud in here. You nod. You'd follow her into an active volcano at this point. She leads you through the kitchen, past Kevin, who winks at you like he's somehow responsible for this, out the back door to the patio. It's quieter out here. Colder. Your breath comes out in clouds. Jenny wraps her arms around herself. I should have brought a jacket. This is your moment. You should offer her yours. That's what they do in movies. You start to take off your coat, but she stops you. It's okay. I'm tough. You stand there for a second. Just the two of you, away from the chaos of the party. You can still hear the music inside, muffled now. Someone's playing Pink Floyd. Wish you were here. I like your shirt, she says. Thanks. I just got it. The colors are very bold. You're not sure if that's a compliment or not, but you're taking it as one. So, how do you like the party? She asks. It's good. Different. Different how? I don't know, just different. Bigger than I thought. She laughs. Kevin goes all out. His parents are going to kill him when they see the house tomorrow. Worth it though, right? Totally worth it. You talk. Just talk. About school, about teachers you both hate, about the spring musical she's auditioning for. She asks about you, actually asks, wants to know about your life. You tell her about the arcade, about Space Invaders, about your annoying little brother. She tells you about her younger sister, who's apparently equally annoying. Time does this weird thing where it speeds up and slows down simultaneously. You're talking for what feels like 5 minutes, but when you check your watch, it's been an hour. An hour. You've been talking to Jenny Cooper for an hour and you haven't said anything stupid. You haven't frozen up. You're just talking. Like a normal human person. I should probably get back inside, she says eventually. My friends are probably wondering where I disappeared to. Yeah, me too. But neither of you moves. This was nice, she says. Yeah, really nice. Maybe we could hang out sometime, like, not at a party? Your heart stops. Completely stops. You're dead. This is it. This is how you die. At 16, at a party, talking to the girl you've liked for 3 years. Yeah, that would be, yeah. She smiles. Cool. See you Monday? See you Monday. She goes inside. You stand there for another minute, alone on the patio, staring at nothing, trying to process what just happened. Did Jenny Cooper just ask to hang out with you? Did that actually happen? Are you dreaming? Did someone spike your terrible beer with hallucinogens? You go back inside, find Mike. He's drunk. Not falling down drunk, but definitely tipsy. His eyes are glassy and he's talking too loud. Dude, where were you? I was looking everywhere. I was outside, talking to Jenny Cooper. His eyes go wide. No way. Way. What happened? We just talked? And she wants to hang out. Mike screams. Actually screams. Several people turn and look. You grab him, tell him to shut up, but you're grinning like an idiot because you're screaming on the inside too. The party continues. You have another beer, then another. The world gets fuzzy around the edges. Everything's funnier than it should be. Someone puts on Stairway to Heaven, and everyone sways dramatically during the slow part. You check your watch. 11:30. Time to go. You find Mike, who's now best friends with 3 people he just met, and is having a deeply philosophical conversation about whether aliens exist. Mike, we gotta go. But we're talking about aliens, man. Mike, midnight. He understands. Midnight is sacred. Midnight is the deadline. Miss midnight and you're grounded until college. You call Rick from Kevin's phone. The phone is attached to the wall in the kitchen, a long curly cord that's tangled like spaghetti. Rick answers on the 4th ring. Yeah? Can you pick us up? What time is it? 11:30. I'll be there in 10. He hangs up. No goodbye. Just click. You and Mike wait outside. The cold air feels amazing after the hot, crowded house. Your ears are ringing from the music. Your head is spinning from the beer. You feel alive. Rick pulls up. You climb in. He looks at you in the rearview mirror. Good time? The best. He nods, satisfied. Puts the car in gear. Takes you home. He drops you off at 11:55. 5 minutes to spare. You thank him, stumble up the driveway. The house is dark except for the porch light Mom left on. You use your key, quiet as possible. Slip inside. Mom's on the couch. She wasn't sleeping. She was waiting. Of course she was waiting. You're home. 11:55. She nods, sniffs the air. Have you been drinking? No. Don't lie to me. You're too tired to lie, too happy to care. I had 2 beers. You brace for the explosion, the grounding, the lecture about responsibility and disappointment and how could you. But it doesn't come. She just looks at you for a long moment, then sighs. Go to bed. We'll talk about this in the morning. You go upstairs, brush your teeth for approximately 5 minutes, trying to get rid of the beer taste. Change into your pajamas. Collapse into bed. The room spins a little. You close your eyes. Open them. Close them again. You're thinking about Jenny Cooper, about her smile, about the fact that she wants to hang out with you. Out of all the people at that party, she chose to spend an hour talking to you. This is the best night of your life. You fall asleep with a smile on your face. Sunday morning. You wake up to the sound of church bells from St. Mary's down the street. Your head hurts. Not terrible, but enough to remind you that beer is not your friend. Your mouth tastes like something died in it. You hear movement downstairs. Family sounds. Dad's voice. Your brother laughing. The smell of bacon, again, because Mom cooks bacon like it's her job. You drag yourself out of bed. Stumble to the bathroom. Look in the mirror. You look rough. Your hair's sticking up in 17 directions. Your eyes are bloodshot. You look like you got hit by a truck that was made of bad decisions. You splash water on your face. Brush your teeth again. Head downstairs. The family's at the table. Sunday breakfast. This is tradition. Everyone together. No rushing, no schedule. Just food and family and the Sunday paper spread across half the table. Mom looks at you. How do you feel? Fine. Uh-huh. Dad looks up from the paper. You look like hell. Thanks, Dad. Your sister smirks. Your brother's oblivious, drowning his pancakes in syrup. You sit down. Mom puts a plate in front of you. Bacon, eggs, toast. Your stomach lurches. You're not sure you can eat, but you try. One bite, then another. So, Mom says, about last night. Here it comes. I'm disappointed you lied to me about Kevin's parents being home. I'm sorry. I'm not thrilled you were drinking. I know. But, she pauses. You came home on time. You called for a ride instead of trying to drive or walk. You told me the truth when I asked. You wait for the other shoe to drop. So you're grounded for 1 week, no arcade, no going out after school, straight home. 1 week. You can live with 1 week. You nod. But, she says again. She's smiling now, just a little. I'm glad you had fun. You look at her. She gets it. She actually gets it. Dad grunts from behind the paper. Just don't make a habit of it. I won't. Breakfast continues. Your sister's talking about something, your brother's talking about something else. Dad's muttering about politics. Mom's refilling coffee. It's Sunday morning, middle-class family, middle-class suburb, 1975. It's routine. It's normal. It's boring and beautiful, and exactly what it should be. So there you have it. 24 hours, more or less, in the life of a middle-class kid in 1975. No smartphones, no internet, no GPS or DoorDash or Netflix. Just life. Real, tangible, face-to-face, sometimes awkward, sometimes amazing life. Looking back from 50 years in the future, it's easy to romanticize it, to think it was simpler, better, more authentic. And maybe it was in some ways. People talked to each other, face to face. No texts, no DMs. If you wanted to see someone, you went to see them. If you liked someone, you had to actually tell them, in person, with your actual voice. But it was also harder. Everything took longer. Information wasn't instant. If you needed to know something, you looked it up in an encyclopedia, or you asked someone who might know, or you just didn't know. and that was okay. Mystery was normal. Money was tighter, or maybe it just felt tighter because every expense was visible, tangible. Cash in your wallet, checks in the checkbook. You could see your money disappearing, and it made you think twice about spending it. Privacy was different. There was more of it in some ways. Your embarrassing moments weren't recorded and uploaded for the world to see. But there was less of it in others. One bathroom for the whole family. Shared phones. Everyone in everyone else's business because there were fewer places to hide. The middle class in 1975 meant something specific. A house, probably mortgaged, but yours. A car, maybe two if you were doing well. Food on the table every night. Clothes on your back. Maybe a vacation once a year, driving somewhere because plane tickets were expensive. It meant stability, predictability, trading excitement for security. Working the same job for 30 years because that job had a pension, had benefits, had a future. It meant knowing your neighbors, shopping at the same stores, eating at the same restaurants. Your whole life in a 20-mile radius because why would you need to go further? Was it better? Harder to say. Different, definitely. Slower, probably. More connected in some ways, less connected in others. But here's what hasn't changed. Being middle class still means living in that space between struggling and thriving. It means working hard, saving money, hoping your kids have it better than you did. It means wanting security, stability, a life that's comfortable if not exciting. The details change. The technology evolves. The economy shifts. But that fundamental middle-class experience, the routine, the family dinners, the small victories, the big worries, that stays the same. So, the next time you're scrolling through your phone, ordering dinner from an app, streaming a show while texting 3 people simultaneously, take a second. Think about what it was like 50 years ago, when life was slower, when boredom was real, when connecting with someone meant actually being in the same room. Was it better? Maybe. Maybe not. But it was real. And there's something beautiful about that. Thanks for coming on this journey with me. If you enjoyed this trip back in time, make sure you hit that subscribe button because we've got more historical deep dives coming your way. Drop a comment. Let me know what part of 1975 life surprised you the most. And remember, 50 years from now, someone's going to make a video about what it was like to live in 2025. And you're going to watch it and think, yeah, those were the days. History's funny like that. Take care, guys. See you in the next one.